not really for body composition reasons, just like you feel better at heavier weight, you feel healthier, you're able to train and just function better, energy levels are better, everything.
Yeah, I think
smart.
It's
just smart because I mean everyone knows like the health risks with the sport, you know, and there's really a few simple things you can do to really minimize the risk of the health risk, and almost all the health risks of the sport are related to heart and kidney issues. You know, I mean they just are. So you know, if you keep your blood pressure under control, you minimize the heart and the kidney issues, and then if you keep your heart function good while doing cardio, I mean that's really all you need to do to basically give yourself more longevity for an entire career, retire, and then come out the other side of the sport with your health still intact. Are those two simple things, and you know people neglect them, but that's all it takes. And like you said, for training endurance, you know, like when you get 300 pounds, that's a lot of oxygenated tissue that needs to move around. You know, if you're doing sets of 20 on squats at 300 pounds with the kind of weight that Joe's going to move, it's very likely that his lungs are the failure point before his muscles will be, you know, unless he's in good cardiovascular shape. And so, you know, people worry about cardio, or people think like cardio is going to hold back their gains, but it's really the opposite. Right. You know, and you can even tie it back to the long distance runner thing. You know, it is the opposite. If you've ever seen like really strong guys gas out on squats, you know, before their legs fail, obviously their leg muscles aren't going to grow as much as they could if their legs were the failure point rather than their lungs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Joe being 310 kind of pretty much squashes that whole theory if he's the cardio he's doing. So,
yeah.
You know, I know one of the things that got really popular out there, I think like Mark Bell did this a lot, and a few other people on social media, like the 10-minute walks, like after a workout to help with digestion and, you know, glucose sensitivity, whatever. I'm just curious for your cardio, are you thoughtful as far as if it's, you know, fasted or post meal when you're off season, or is it just kind of when you feel like doing it, you do it? Like, what does that look like for you and your approach there?
Usually I do it fasted. If I do like I guess like a type of walk or cardio that's not fasted, it's usually just like me walking my dog. So I might do that like, you know, later in the morning or in the middle of the day or later in the day, just depending on the day. But that's probably the only other time I do. And that's like, you know, just, it's kind of like a walk and stop, because like every time he wants to, you know, do his business, it's like a walk and stop. So
sure.
You know, but yeah, I do that. Like, but I have heard of the 10-minute walks for like kind of like digestion and stuff. And I don't like I do obviously I do a lot of coaching, but I'm like, you know, every couple hours you're getting up to like go get meals and things like that. So I'm still on my feet in between. So I feel like that helps with digestion, because I feel like, yeah, if you're sitting too long for too long period of time, I find it does, you know, kind of obviously slow down digestion and things like that. So but yeah, typically when I'm doing cardio, it's first thing in the morning, just because I like to do it first thing in the morning, because then I can do cardio, take some time to like, you know, do some mobility work, maybe some like core work as well, a little bit of posing, and then kind of continue into like the rest of my day with like the meals and so on.
Yeah, speaking of meals, so I know, you know, I know Justin does more of like a calorie rotation and using carbohydrates to manipulate some of those calories. And I know back with a lot of your coaching, it sounds like from what I was seeing, you do some carb rotations approaches. What is your setup right now? Like, you know, are you on like a high, medium, low kind of rotation? And then if so, like how many high days a week are you doing now?
Yep. Yeah. Basically, yeah, he does have me doing the carb cycling. So I do typically two high days a week, which is about like 1,000 grams of carbs. And then the moderate days, I think around like if I'm not wrong, I think it's close to 700.
Yeah, 665 is the official number. Yeah, it's more than, because that's just the direct count. You know, there's, you know, there really isn't many carbs in anything else. But yeah, 665. Yeah, Joe eats a lot of food.
And then like my low carb days are my rest days, so those are like 400 and something, I think.
Yeah, 450-ish.
Yeah, about 450. So yeah, like it's the first time I've done carb cycling like that, because usually when I was doing my own, like coaching myself, because I've coached myself quite a bit like the last 3-4 years, and like for myself it would just be, you know, your training day diet and then your rest day diet. So I wouldn't do the carb cycling approach as much, but I actually like it, because now I'm at a point where like I'm doing this for a couple months, and it's actually easy to eat the food. Like I don't struggle to eat the food right now at all. Like the moderate days, I actually get probably like a little bit hungry. The high days are fine for me. So like, but like for me, it's comfortable because like I'm still getting stronger. I'm still improving in the gym,
Yeah.
and my weight is still kind of like slowly been going up, except for like I was just getting over a cold, so I didn't train as much last week, so my weight dropped a bit. But other than that, like it's still been progressing. So I found like just being at that calorie intake a little longer was made it easier. But when I started, the high days were pretty challenging at first, but now they're no issue really.
Got it. Yeah, no, I know people are going to ask or want to know, and they'll probably be let down by the answer to this question, but I'll ask it anyways. Can you walk through food types? Because I'm sure it's going to be pretty similar, but like favorite protein sources and carb sources, and then we'll hit your fat sources too.
Okay. Yeah, like typically, I think my diet's pretty boring, to be honest. I eat pretty much in the morning. It'll be like either oatmeal or cream of rice, and I'll have like eggs, egg whites, maybe some turkey bacon, and then actually my breakfast is probably the only interesting one, and then the rest of my meals are usually either chicken and rice or beef and rice, or sometimes I'll have potatoes if I really feel like making potatoes, but it's usually a lot of rice and chicken and beef.
Yeah, it's usually pretty straightforward. I know it's a lot of people that
That's
looking for the
bodybuilding.
secret.
Meat
Yep.
and rice. I mean,
Yep.
that's bodybuilding. That's like that. And there's some kids listening right now, as guys starting out in the sport, and they'll hear that and they like won't sink in. But if anyone's listening, whether you believe it or not, I don't care. But if you want to succeed in the sport, the sooner you accept that that's what the sport is chicken and rice, steak and rice, ground beef and rice, with eggs and oatmeal here and there. that's the sport.
Yeah.
Now I have to ask selfishly, any specialty way of preparing your rice? Rice cooker? What's your approach with your rice?
I literally just the rice cooker. Honestly, like I just throw in like.
Do you use like chicken stock, or do you use just water?
I just use water. Like I don't know. It's super boring, but like I just throw in water.
Yeah. Now I've been going with a chicken stock and a little pink salt, little mixture in there. I think I saw it online a couple years ago.
I've done that, but then I just got lazy and I just make the rice. And if I want to add
Yeah.
something to it after, I'll add like.
That is my lazy way, because the container, I know like a certain amount of rice is like 1 full chicken cup, and then the second I fill it with water, that's 2, and I'm like, all right, cool. Like that's how I measure it, because I don't want to get a measuring cup dirty and have to wash it. So
mine is if you do. I like instant rice. I go through phases. Instant rice, it's like almost a little flakier, and it's like it's like Dijon rice. It's a little different. But if you take 9.5 cups of water, a bunch of salt, and then a whole box of Minute Maid instant rice or minute rice, and that's it. Boil the water, pour it in, close the top, and you're done. Turn the stove off. Easiest rice there is.
Hey, we're going to start a spin-off show with recipes from Bodybuilders, right?
How to cook rice.
It'll be about 3 minutes. 3 minutes of content, maybe 7 minutes, but yeah. Well, good deal. I know one thing I did want to put out there just for Joe was, I know you do a lot of coaching as well. So you can give a brief overview. Is it mainly competitor focus? I know you've had some big weight loss clients too. Like, can you talk a little bit about that, and then we'll kind of wind down for you. I know we're coming up on time soon, so.
Yeah, no, I work with a lot of competitors for sure. Like I get a lot of like bodybuilders, classic physique guys. But I've worked with, like honestly, like I've worked with every category, but predominantly like mostly bodybuilders. So yeah, I've worked with like all the women's categories as well, like bodybuilding, physique, figure, bikini, wellness, and all those different categories. But I also like have probably about a third of my clients are just lifestyle clients. So mostly like people that are just, looking to improve their body composition, get stronger, get bigger, but don't necessarily want to compete, things like that. So yeah, that's pretty much what I do on a full-time basis. And then just enables me to, have the time to, train and schedule what I need to do around that, like with the meals and training whenever I need to. And yeah, it just works really well for me. Like, and I enjoy doing it too. So
yeah, good deal. Any like major, like kind of big, like success stories you have out there that stick out, or something you're really proud of as far as clientele goes?
Well, I helped the first client I had this year was my first client that got a pro card, so that was actually
Nice.
huge. Like,
Awesome.
I had a master's guy. I think I was showing him to Justin before. Like, he was one of those like guys where you're just like, hey, if he doesn't win, then
Yeah.
you know. But
Mhm.
yeah, that was cool to be like have my like first experience of like helping somebody else turn pro. So that was a huge success for me. Because you know it's a great thing to have under your belt to have like someone that you've turned pro.
No, that's awesome. Cool. Well, good stuff. Well, we're going to kind of wind down here. And what we like to do is we're wrapping up the show as we go through a segment called shoot, move, and communicate. So a little bit more rapid fire questions. I'll prompt you through the questions. Most of them are either one word answers or short answers. If you tend to, go off a little bit, that's okay too. But we like to have a little fun and just kind of go through our punch list. So if you're ready to roll, I'll get us started here. You ready to go?
All right, let's do it.
All right. So, Coach Little Joe, what accomplishment in competing has made you most proud?
Third place Toronto Pro.
All right, good deal. And what year was that again?
2021.
2021. Got it. And what accomplishment outside of competing has made you most proud?
Outside of computer. Maybe my car, my XC90.
All right, good deal. Good deal. And one word describe a professional bodybuilder. What would it be?
Chicken and rice.
Good deal. One word or phrase of encouragement you give to a up and coming young bodybuilder trying to climb the ranks. What would it be?
Never finished.
All right, good deal. If you had to miss one, what would it be? A meal, a night of sleep, or a training session?
Training session.
All right, good deal. Good deal. We already talked a lot about food, so I'll kind of skip that one. One word or phrase that you would say parallels from your competing to everyday life and or business. What would it be?
Consistency.
All right. I like it. I like it. Good deal. Well, at First Detachment, we do talk about being all in, and obviously you are all in on going after that show this year. So we appreciate you sharing the time with us. We talk about, being battle tested, like our products being battle tested. And we're curious to know, what is the current battle that's testing you that you're kind of forging through, either a recent one or current one?
Is this another one word?
No, you can elaborate a little more.
Okay. Recently, I guess, well, like I like pinched my trap the other day, and that was kind of annoying, but I kind of just like pushed through it and got some RMT done, and it's still kind of hurts, but it's something I can just push through.
Good
And
deal.
then, but like I find in general, just like I've been bodybuilding 10 years, so it's like there's always something, like you have one, if you're like, I was saying it to my girlfriend yesterday, I'm like, you have that one day where you're like, hey, nothing hurts, and then the next day something hurts. So
Right.
it's like there's always something. And so you kind of have to learn to just like work around it and like adjust and like things like that. So for me, like there's always something. So I just look at it like, you know what, like I just I don't have that woe is me mentality. I'm just like, you know what, like I'm just gonna keep doing what I can do no matter what the circumstances are, and just kind of like work around that, and not make an excuse just because like, oh, like my knees are sore today, or my elbow kind of hurts, or well, it's there's only 8 hours of sunlight in Canada right now because it's winter, but
Sure.
like whatever the reason, like there's always an excuse you could have, like based on the circumstance. And I just think you kind of have to like make the most of that circumstance, whatever it is.
Good deal. Well, why don't you tell people out there how they can find you if they want to follow your content, or your I know you're going to be starting your prep and posting about that. Where are some good places people can find you, Joe?
Well, probably the most like predominant place would be Instagram. Like that's where I post the most when it comes to like my content, because I have my link tree there as well. So I have my merchandise, my coaching, website, everything attached there. And I also have my YouTube channel. So I have, I post like some training videos on there, some full days of eating, things like that.
Cool.
So as I get into prep, I'll be posting more of that when it comes to like the day in the life, in contest prep, and in the gym posing and things like that. So my YouTube is actually called Little Joe Muscle Co.
Okay.
So yeah, Instagram is Coach Little Joe, YouTube is Little Joe Muscle Co. And those are basically the two areas of social media that I focus on the most.
Awesome. Well, good deal. We appreciate you joining us again. And for all the listeners out there, just a reminder again, comment in the comment sections below, put your questions in there. We'll definitely get back to you on those. Turn on your notifications. And as always, subscribe. Special thank you to Coach Little Joe for joining us. And as always, my co-host, Justin Harris. We'll see you guys. Have a good night. Take care.
Take care.